The buttons to the right-hand side of the screen each have a different function depending on which mode we're in. The Montage allows us to control the performance with both the touchscreen as well as the array of buttons here. They can both be used to control the same things. So let's look first at the live set mode. What we have here is one page showing a 4x4 grid of different performance patches. And I can select them on the screen, or I can use the corresponding 4x4 grid of buttons here to select the same performances that are on the screen. In this half of the array here, this 4x4 grid allows me to select the different pages within each bank. So I can select them one at a time using the buttons, or I can scroll through them one at a time using these up and down arrows down here. If you prefer to use the screen, you can find the exact same buttons here to scroll through the pages. Or if you wanted to scroll through the banks, you can use these arrows over here, or once again on the screen on the top left. Okay, let's get out of the live set mode now into the performance mode. Now this mode has three subheadings: category search, performance control, and part control. And each of them assign the array of buttons to a different function depending on which of the subheadings is selected. Okay, let's look at the first one, the category search function. Now this one's quite intuitive. The first two rows of buttons here correspond to the sound categories, which you can see on the screen. So I can select them using the buttons or clicking the screen. The third row here corresponds to the subheading, which you can also see on the screen. The fourth row to the actual sound itself. Okay, the next subheading is the performance control mode, which splits the buttons into four separate rows of functions. Now the first row is to select each part if we wanted to edit them one at a time. I can hit the edit button to look at the parameters. The second row here allows me to either mute or solo each part, depending on which of these operators here are selected. Mute is currently selected, so by hitting the buttons here, I am muting each part, which I can also do on the screen. Or if I hit the solo button, I can solo each part with the buttons or on the screen as well. The third and fourth rows allow me to select which type of motion sequence or arpeggiator I wish to use if they are active in the performance. The third subheading here is the part control mode, which allows me to look at all 16 parts at once. If I wanted to edit them, I can select them one at a time like this, or the common features. And once again, if I wanted to mute or solo them, I can select here the mute or solo buttons to affect each part, which I can also do on the screen. Now in this mode, the third and fourth rows, rather than selecting the type of motion sequence or arpeggiator, it allows me to toggle them on or off. So you can see by hitting the button or touching the screen, I can make them inactive or active.